I had to wait for RPMs to kick up on this fan. Like 1900 right now. I don't know if that's focusing. There you go. 1859. Because I wanted hot temps. So. So I wanted to show the Vrm Temp area. Hopefully you guys can see this. As you can see, this is another board that goes down. It goes crazy down too. I've seen, what, almost 89. I'll try to do this. If you can see it like this. These are like the fetch right here. It just drops a lot, and these are the chokes. These are the caps. As you can see, like over here, this area right here, but once we get into this area, to the second set, temps in this total area are just like, they go up. And we're not even at 2000, we're like 1800, so the fan has gone up to 2008 peak, so we're not at the full, not at the 100% really pissed off load. 1854, 1859. So it's just really warm in that area. No, the CPU is only 56. The south bridge on this board was actually really warm. That's running at higher than the CPU, like 57 and 58. It's hard to get a reading on the back of the board. I mean the front of the board. And the peak temperature of the PCH, which is South Bridge, is going up to 69. Right now it's at 62 in hardware monitor. Let's see if I can get 60.3, 61. So, I mean, that's pretty close. You'll probably rely on that. I mean, me going there, it is 62. 62.5. So, that's pretty accurate. The highest the CPU is going up to is 75.3, which is about where all the other boards peaked at my temperature on the CPU. 76, 74 we're seeing, so the voltage is pretty much close. The SoC VRM is not really hot. I mean, it's 50, but you go up to the chokes, it gets a little warmer. The chokes on this board actually run hotter than the FETs, from what I can see. I actually logged on the other side of the board, and they're nice and dull, so this is probably getting a good reading. I just logged up to 91 at the highest peak. So anyway, see if we can get some meter readings. This board is really easy because It has these pads. You don't have to worry about resistance or anything. So that is the SoC right now, 1050. That is very hot. I mean, it's hot when I put my skin on it. Knuckles. About 1.39. That's acceptable for what I'm asking for. Make sure it stay holding. Sit there. It does move a bit. 1.395, 1.396. Our monitor is saying I'm at 1.537 peak and currently 1.46 volts. So, yeah, that's not reading very accurately. Just out of curiosity, use the ground plane from here. Go to a cap. There's your hardware monitor. Now it's saying 1.45, 1.46. Pulling it off. It's not pulling it at. It's not pulling it at the socket. Now, if I drop down to like 1.4 at the cap, this chip wouldn't even be stable. Prime. So, let's check a couple other pads over here, see if we can find some other things. Because this thing's it's full of like blank empty pads. Pretty cool. Makes checking stuff easier. Don't know what that is. That is just... Ooh, that might be memory. That is memory. Cool. So, this one over here is probably memory too. This is probably PLL. Let's check the empty pad. Oh, nope. You know what that is? That, my friends, is VDDP. So, I have it set at 1.0 on the BIOS, but it's still at 0.89. Default VDDP is 0.90, but at least I can actually get VDDP at the back of the board. That's a plus. Alright, let's see. This might be PLL, and it is. So, this board supplies PLL, VDDP, VDDR, SoC, and vCore. Confirmed. All boards default to 0.9 VDDP. So if you can't get like 0.9 at the back of the socket, just not supplying it. Like we found on the MSI, I could not find VDDP anywhere. And this board was not hard to find it. So that covers the voltage on this board. What do I have it set in BIOS? Right now I have level 3 LLC for CPU vCore and for SoC. Both on level 3. I have 1.05 set for the SoC. I have 1.4125 I think set for the vCore. So there is a bit of droop at the socket, but I already know that. That's why I compensate. I believe I have PLL set at 1.8 manually. I have Southbridge set at 1.05, which I could probably get a reading up there, but I'm not really too concerned about it. I have standby VDDP because I wanted to see what happens, set to 1.0, and apparently it does not apply VDDP to the socket. So don't know what it's doing. On top tier boards, Tai Chi, when you go into Pro mode instead of Noob mode, you can go up to ridiculous volts on the VDDP. On the Crosshair Hero in the Tweaker's Paradise, you can go up to at least 1.9 VDDP. This board, you're locked out of VDDP. So that kind of sucks. Well, nothing I can do about that. I have recommended that they add VDDP. I don't know if their controller can control VDDP, but I have asked them because I keep having problems with every single board that doesn't have VDDP allowed. I keep having problems getting the memory controller stable, and this board is no different. So what else can we do? Oh, here we go. Switching frequency. This has the TI Next FETs, I believe, and they are spec'd to run at 500K. That is not 500K. Now, one of the questions I have is the PWM running hotter, or the choke's running hotter, I should say? I don't know if it's because they're running this at 300 instead of 500. Now, the other question is, if I run it at 500, is the board going to even run hotter, or is it going to solve some problem? I don't know. I might go back and test it 1.3, and if I start seeing temps that are even higher than what I'm seeing right now at 1.4 and 3.9, then I'll bail and abort mission. Usually you want to check the legs, by the way, when you're doing this. Like if you check the leg close to the CPU, nothing's going to happen. It's going to just, basically, it's going to give you a false rating. You want to check the leg behind at the back. For some reason the MSI was ass backwards. I don't know if it was because of their cabs, but whatever. So that covers this board. So I guess we should go look at the BIOS and see what I got for settings. I'm just going to leave this one flipped upside down for now. Probably need to stick another motherboard over here. Oh, by the way, if you want to check my screens. There we go. This board has like lackluster hardware info. It just pretty much has no hardware info. I set the memory on this one. Well, this is the CPU speed. It's pretty close to what we were running on the other boards. It's like, it's easier to run like this than it is to run higher. This chip. I stuck Guile memory in here with Cas16 rating. It's I don't know if it's eDie, but I know it's Samsung, to test for a user, and I managed to get it to 2933. It gives me 3 beeps. This board, if you're going to overclock with this board, really useful to stick a speaker and listen for the beeps. And it's also really useful to set the fans on auto so you can hear the fans ramp up. Pretty much once you listen to it a few times, you can hear the fans ramp up. You know if it's going to post or not. So I don't know why I have another CPU tab up here, but let's close that. These temps are pretty much useless. Move this out of the way. And voltages are pretty much useless. I mean, if you want to see the cap voltage, then pay attention to the V-core. But all the other voltages are like useless. CPU Temps, I believe. Southbridge Temps. Where is it? It's somewhere in here. PCH. Southbridge Temps, I believe. This thing has been running since, I don't know, 21, and it's 7 now. It's at least 7 hours, put it that way. So, still passing, still going. So it's definitely stable, and it hasn't popped. I was actually a little apprehensive last night when I saw the chokes at 91C. So I don't feel like flipping the board right now. You can take my word for it, or you can test it yourself. So let's shut this thing down. Actually, move you guys in closer so I have more room here. Oh, 10 hours we ran this for. Hear the beep? That's why I have the speaker in. Alright, so maybe this thing will be somewhat photogenic until I go on settings. This stuff is pretty self-explanatory. AI Overclocked Tuner, I leave it on auto because I don't like using DOCP or XMP or any of that stuff. Why'd that move? Auto. You have to set that to auto if you want to use no offsets. I don't like offsets, so I don't use them. Not for overclocking purposes. Performance BIOS auto, obviously, you know. I don't know what the hell that was. I thought it was in performance BIOS. None, CB15, ADA, 11.5. These actually do impact other benches besides these benches, but I mean, you need to be smart about it. CB15 multi-threaded. So if you're running like, I don't know, GTA 5, try it. ADA, what the hell? Why does it keep going back? It's my mouse probably. ADA, so memory intensive stuff. Super Pi maybe? Possibly, I mean, look at it, it's doing ADA and Geekbench. It's memory intensive, so you get something memory intensive, try it. Might work, might not. Your memory frequency, I really don't need to go over how high it goes. It goes up to 3200. DRAM, I have 53.3 ohm on this board. That's a baseline setting. If I go up to 3200, I might have to play with it more, but it's fine on this. Oh, I was set at 1.4. I thought I had 1.4125, but I had 1.4. I had 1.4 at the socket. Who can complain about that, right? I had 1.048, was it? I think it was 1.048 loaded socket, so 1.050. I had 1.36 on the memory, 1.05 on the Southbridge, 1.8 on the PLL, 6.8, which is half of 1.36 for the VTT. I had VDDP standby voltage at 1.0, but apparently it does not do anything at the socket. No clue what that voltage is. I would love to have regular VDDP like the Crosshair 6, but it's a Crosshair 6, and the Pro beat it, then I guess it wouldn't be marketable. So, DigiVRM level 3, I ran for this testing purposes. I ran the current capability up high. You don't have to. You can. I would probably just leave it alone, but I'm doing testing. The switching frequency range is 300 to 600, so it's interesting that they're running it Auto is 300 on this board. Whoop, I closed out. Go back to auto. Why is it not going to auto? It is A, right? It's not even going. Screw it. Auto. So VRM spectrum off. Overclocking. T-probe. Like I said, I like thermal balance. T-probe is thermal balance, basically. You can go to extreme or T-probe. You're not using LN2, so I don't use extreme. Phase controls, I run optimize on my boards. These are settings I've been running on Asus boards for God knows how long, for 24/7 use. Not for overclocking, extreme overclocking, for 24/7 use. I've been using it. My board's still alive, my chip's still alive. I know people who killed their 2600, 2500Ks, so you do what you want to do. This is what I do. Once again, level 3, you can leave this alone again. I left that alone just because we were going to see it, but once again, you know, the range is, it doesn't even tell me the range on this one. So, let's see how high we can go. 600 once again. Optimized, and then on the CH6 I have more things. VDDR boot voltage, I have DRAM phase control, and I don't have it here, so that kind of sucks. So that covers everything here that you need to know. And then we go into here, CBS, core performance boost disabled. Leave that alone, leave that alone. Global C state control, you can actually disable that too. Onboard devices, I mean, the LAN's on right now. All this stuff is on. Even the RGB is on. It's not that offensive on this board, so I just left it alone. None of this stuff matters for overclocking. Once again, nothing matters for overclocking. Nothing matters here for overclocking. Nothing matters here for overclocking. Pretty much none of this stuff matters for overclocking. Monitor. When you're overclocking like an LN2, see this right here? Ignore, pretty much CPU temperature, ignore. And then, where is it? Ignore, because you're gonna get annoying postcodes. Oh, and CPU fan speed. Well, usually if you got an L12 bot, you don't have a CPU fan, so ignore. Or when I put my phase change on. So Asus has done that forever too. So 5 years retired and still the same thing. Boot configuration disabled. I like it disabled. I don't like the screens. Oh, the other one. This thing defaults on this board to easy mode. Well, I'll show you easy mode. Actually, I can show you easy mode this way. There's easy mode. So it defaults to this. You just hit F7 and it goes away. I have it set up so it is in advanced mode all the time. Easy flash, overclocking profile, I have none because I don't need any, because I know everything by heart nowadays. So that's pretty much the board and the BIOS. It's missing some stuff, but it's functional. It's more functional than most of the BIOSes I have used. So, of course, the CH6 is the most functional BIOS I've used. It has the most buttons for someone like me who is an advanced overclocker. I like to play with buttons, and it gives me plenty of buttons to play with. So anyway, that is the wrap up on this board. And I think the BioStar might be coming today. This is it's not a review sample, it's a Newegg sample that my buddy Zenefx sent me from California. I probably should send him a board to play with in return. We'll be testing that board, going through the paces. I'm not going to bench it on LN2, obviously. I'm just going to put it through the paces like we're doing here, and hopefully it survives. We've got warranties, so I'm expecting good things from it, but who knows? I expected good things from a couple boards, and it wasn't quite the way I expected it to come out. So I'm going to look into switching frequency on this board next, and if I find something interesting, I'll post it. If not, I might RMA my board. We'll find out. See you next time.